Hello and welcome to the Arsenal BiteSize Podcast. I'm your host Clayton at ClaytonsAFC on Twitter, joined by my co-host at FPL Nima. How you doing?
Yeah, good buddy. Happy Friday. Happy lunchtime. Yeah, good to be back with you. I've been enjoying your solo pods. Great work. And I'm glad that we're together for this one because it's a big game and we're going together to this one as well.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be there on Sunday against Villa, but obviously the big one was on Tuesday, and didn't get a chance to do a solo pod on that one, so I thought we could spend a few minutes covering that off. What I'll do, I'll go on to the first slide. Obviously, when we do the previews, we usually do our predicted 11s, but thought we could start there. I've got on screen, I've got the graphic of the starting 11 against Bayern. It was obviously Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Kivior. To my surprise, I think a few people were surprised by that. Midfield was obviously Rice, Jorginho, Odegaard, and the front three was Saka, Martinelli, and Havertz. If you had to summarize the game, where would you start with that one?
Um, so for me, it was a very interesting game because I think I look back on it now and I think maybe I was naive before the game. Like I think I kind of thought, yeah, like win it by a few goals and like part the bus at their stadium. I think I was a bit optimistic with that one. And I knew that the moment the game began, because as soon as the game began, like even before like we had a chance to even think about playing, I was like, oh shit, like these guys look really up for it. Like they are ready. Like they're not, they don't care about our league form and their league form. Like these are superstar players on the pitch and they have experience and pedigree. And it was almost like the rude awakening of the first leg with Porto again.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I took it too lightly. And once it dawned on me, like we got a real game on our hands. And it was exciting. I enjoyed it. But my summary is that like I underestimated them. And I think for me as a fan, it was my first quarterfinal in 14 years. And I got to remember for most of these players, they've never even played in the knockout of the Champions League ever. So it's a learning curve for everyone. And I'm glad we were able to like not go in 2-1 down into the next leg. Like I can't tell you how important that equalizer was. Like I felt so much relief when that went in.
Yeah, I'm similar to you, to be fair. Like I think that's the thing. I felt like I was on my own in saying to people like you can't underestimate Bayern going into this. I think that's the thing. You kind of look at their form and everything in the league, and sure, you jump to conclusions. But I heard on the Arsenal Vision pod Elliot talking about their stats and like they're across the 5 leagues, they're top for XG goal difference. Okay, granted, they're fifth for defense, but like I think you combine that with a manager in Tuchel who, regardless of what you think of him as a man manager and what's going on domestically, as a one-off game tactician, he's one of the best around. And then you combine that as well with the individual quality they've got, like Sane, Nabry, Musiala, Kane, Coman came on, then Muller was on the bench. Like it's just you can't
It's
really.
filthy.
It's filthy. Like, and I think this is for me where like I personally didn't understand the like ridiculous confidence. I think we had a right to go into it thinking we have a right to win, but like, and I think in my prediction I said 3-1, so I thought we would win by like a comfortable margin, but I think it was more. I was also very weary of the fact that it could be very close, and for me it was like the minute I got in my seat there, and I looked at them, I was like, damn, like like the aura kind of thing, and there's this thing in the Champions League. It's a real intangible thing. I can't quantify, but some teams just have that pedigree, and it's like the badge, and the like Real Madrid are the epitome of it. Like I don't think some of the Real Madrid teams that have won the Champions League in the last few years have necessarily been deserving of every single one, but the Champions League just has a ridiculous level of variance that I think is breaded by individual moments and individual quality. And you look at this Arsenal team, I think we're an absolutely amazing, systematic and functional team, but how many players would you say with confidence are capable of going on a run like Sane did or creating a moment of magic out of nowhere? I think Saka is, Odegaard can be, but the other one for me is a Jesus. Like you look at what he did coming off the bench, that level of unpredictability. I think that's what we need. So for me, it was even though I predicted a win, I kind of expected it to be a lot more challenging than people thought. And yeah, I think it was a good test for us because I think the one thing I'm confident in is this group learns very quickly from new experiences. So I'm very confident that we'll go to the Allianz with like a different game plan. And yeah, hopefully we'll do all right. For me, it was the Ben White chance, though. I genuinely think if that goes in at 2-0, 15 minutes, I think we then go on like a ridiculous level of confidence, and Bayern don't get back into the game. So that's my biggest, that's my biggest
It's
frustration.
tough, isn't it? Because it's like incredible that opportunity arose, but I know what you mean. Like, obviously he's a defender, man. Like everyone's saying he should have scored, and like maybe, but like it wasn't like it was Havertz through or Trossard through or
Yeah,
Jesus through. Like fair play to Ben. Like he's incredible. I love everything he's been doing lately. All the stories coming out about just his work ethic and what he did under even Bielsa, and like how he took on the feedback, and just people were shocked at how intense he is about being the best professional he can be at his job. But I don't know. I was gutted. Yeah, it's almost like it's one of those where, like, you know, normally when we miss chances like that in a game, I always feel in the Premier League like we'll get more.
yeah,
When that one happened, I was like, oh no, like we're gonna look back at that, and like this could potentially be the moment we remember. So I think you're right. It's more than just the goal itself. It's if we'd gone 2 ahead in the first half, the way that it happened, like I just feel like it would have really killed their confidence in Bayern side. But no, Sane was unreal. Like I think
he
just
fucking ruined
absolutely
Kiwior,
cooked
didn't he?
Kiwior. Yeah, like I thought Tomiyasu was going to start. Clearly, he's not ready. He didn't even come off the bench for it. So clearly, it was too high intensity for him. But I thought we'd start him to like protect the back line. When I saw Kiwior, I was with a Liverpool fan. He was like, "Oh, you know, like, are you not afraid of him against Sane?" I was like, "No, I'm happy." He goes, "Would you not want one of your other left backs?" I'm like, "No, he's earned it. You know, he's played well. He's getting his reward for everything he's done so far." And then he got hooked at half time.
Yeah.
And again, I was shocked when it was Zinchenko that came on. But what I did feel is that actually Zinchenko, everyone always talks about the chances that happen because he's on the pitch and people cutting into the space he leaves. But the game came alive when he came on. Like him and Jesus and Trossard, those three are like why we're still in this time. And that upsets me, because then it reminds me how much talk there has been about Jesus and how it's time to move on, and that this and this, and is he as good as he was? But we now know that, like, he's going to probably have another knee surgery this summer, and he's never been quite right since the first one. So it seems that he's going to miss the Copa America, and he's being managed, and he's just being used here and there where he can, and he's basically consistently playing through this pain. And he's going to need surgery again to correct it. So that concerns me, because I don't see how we qualify from this second leg without him starting. Like, having seen what I've seen, I need him to start. I was so excited for Martinelli to start. I was worried he wouldn't be ready. And now I don't know whether it's Martinelli I should be assessing, or is it that pod of Kiwior with Martinelli, is that part of what went wrong? I don't know.
Yeah, I think for me, it's I'm fine with Martinelli starting in the second leg again, despite him not really pulling up any trees. But I want Havertz at 8 and Rice as the 6 and Jesus up top. I just think Declan Rice is one of the best transition defending midfielders in the world. Like, just have him there when teams are running at us and it's Rice, Gabriel, Saliba in the center. Like, we never feel like we're going to get broken through. And Bayern just made us look completely bang average on Tuesday in transitions, and that's not something I've seen. But then even the Brighton game, I know we won, but there were large periods of that game where we were chasing them back and they were running through our midfield. And I think, like, the Jorginho thing is obviously, like, it gives us a level of control, but I think there's certain games now where we don't really need him, and I think we need more of Rice as the 6, and like you can have a Zinchenko come on and kind of control the game from that perspective. Because the best game for me when Jorginho and Rice were playing was against Liverpool, and Jorginho was playing as the 8 in that game. Like, he was the one actually pressing, and when I say the 8, I mean,
I remember it, but I do remember thinking to myself at the time, like, oh wow, he's getting up the pitch.
Yeah, so I just think because Havertz works so hard, and I think if we can have Havertz working hard in midfield, have Rice in the 6 where he is best, and then have Havertz kind of combining with Jesus, I think that gives us the best chance.
You know what? Arsenal fans can never have good things. Havertz drops one bad performance in 2 months, and I'm already seeing people calling for him to be benched, and they're like, he absolutely shouldn't start the next leg. Like, I don't know what to say. Like,
it's but again, like, that's not me saying it's
no, not you, but I mean in general. That's what I'm seeing from more vocal minorities. It's not the majority, but you know how quickly Arsenal fans turn on their players. It's like, we're the only team that I know that isn't happy about depth. Every
Yeah,
other team, like you
literally.
don't, yeah, you don't see Man City fans complaining about which amazing attacker starts or which defender starts. Like everyone's great. They're just
Yeah,
happy they have depth. For us,
it's
it's
true.
like we personally lack. I see people personally attacking individuals in our team because that's not their favorite player, and
Yeah.
then their favorite plays in the same position. It's just really upsetting because they need our backing. That's what I'm trying to tell people. I was like, we need to support them. We need to push them through this last line. Like they're not going to get through if the stadium isn't supporting them. And obviously, I wasn't there, so maybe you can tell me. But from what I could tell, when we went down, it looked like it went a bit quiet until we equalized again. So I don't know if it's like, well, obviously when we were ahead and the hype was there at the beginning, but I almost felt like from the TV anyway, I didn't feel like I could hear the noise I normally hear when we were down. Now, maybe you told me that's just the TV microphone didn't pick it up. I don't know. You were there, but I think we need to back them more than what I saw on Tuesday. But maybe you saw enough. I don't know.
No, you're right. The atmosphere was fucking shit. I don't know what happened. Like my mate Andrew's in, he said the same thing. Atmosphere was a letdown on Tuesday. I don't know what happened. It was like because obviously the Ashburton Army and a lot of Arsenal fans did that march pre-game from like the Tollington area through the tunnel to the game. So like the vibes were good. You get into the pre-game, you get into the stadium pre-game, go to the concourse. Obviously, there's certain blocks like 5 and 6 where it's always raucous there. Vibes were great. I got into my seat, and I don't know if this came across on the telly, but that period just before kickoff was fucking electric. And I was thinking, here we go, like this is going to set the tone. And then I don't know what happened. It's almost like it was an anticlimax, and it just went so quiet. And like it wasn't
Do
even
you
a
think we
vibe
were
of.
jittery? Like, was it nerves? Like, was
I
it the
was just going to
players'
say,
nerves were being transmitting to us? Like,
I don't think so because like I can only speak for myself. I didn't feel nervous per se, but it was just like it was really surreal. It was just like people weren't. I think that people were so engrossed in just watching the football that they forgot they were there to like be a 12th man.
mm,
But it was a shit atmosphere, man. Honestly, it only then got because obviously when we scored, it went mental and it picked up. But then you said it like, and if it came across on the telly, it's probably because it's true. Like when we went behind, it was quite underwhelming, and then it only then picked up again when Trossard got the equalizer, and it was like I think that was the 79th minute, right? So it was
yeah, then it
10
felt like,
minutes.
oh, could we crack on and get another one? Like, I felt like there was a bit more hype again. But there was
Yeah,
definitely a period where I was watching and I was in the pub with my friend. I was like, what? Like it's painful they've scored like essentially two mistakes of our own creation. Like, it's like you give away the ball and 3 touches later it's in your net. Like, you
yeah.
can't at this level of the game be doing this stuff. But
No, and that's the thing. It's like that. I think if I had to have my final say before we give your one as well,
yeah,
mine
yeah.
was just this for me. Just summarized Champions League. Like the margins are so tight. Like fundamentally, their 2 goals were 2 errors punished. We had a chance, we didn't take it, and Ben White. Saka's decision making at the end was wrong, in my opinion. He got there with enough time to attempt to take it around the keeper that I think he should have slotted it through his legs or either side of him. So it's the margins are just so fine. It is a joke. You have to be clinical and ruthless, and we're not going to get the volume of chances. And individual brilliance is going to be a key factor. So yeah, let's see how
I
we get
think
on.
you're
I'm
right.
actually
We want,
going to
yeah.
Munich next week, so
I was gonna say I can't believe you're going. I'm so excited, but I wish that we get through. I really pray. I pray for times like these. I've waited. I was 20 years old when we were in the quarterfinal, and I feel like my whole life has changed in that time. So yeah, it's time that we go and get. Is it our third semi-final? It would be
third
or our
ever
fourth?
semi-final. It would be. That's
Wow,
mad.
that would be crazy. I really hope we can make it, man.
Yeah, fingers
But the
crossed.
good news was, and I don't want to talk about the Saka and the penalties. I don't care about any of that. So I think enough people have chatted shit about that since Tuesday that we'll move into Aston Villa, as you say. My only thing I wanted to add was just like how good is Leo Trossard? Like I know that there have been times when he started and it's not felt as good, but honestly, I can't remember a player that comes off the bench and is so clutch more in recent times at
Yeah.
Arsenal. Like he's got the second most goal contributions this season at the club from limited starts, and I'm like, if like
How?
I'm now thinking, if so, who would you want if it was the Champions League final, yeah, and one of our players was 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper in the 90th minute to win the final? Which of our players would you want being real taking that shot? Because right now, I think it might be Leo Trossard for me. I don't know
It
if it's
probably
recency
is
bias.
him, to be fair, yeah. But Yeah, it probably is him. I would say Saka as well, to be fair, or Odegaard, but Trossard's definitely in that conversation,
I think
100%.
for me, it's just his age as well. Like he's much more mature. Like he's got like 6, 7 years on Saka, right? So
Yeah,
there's just something about that kind of cool head on his shoulders. Like I'd love Saka to take it too. I think he's obviously probably tied with him, but that tells you so much about a player who's barely been starting for us, and yet his importance since he arrived, the goals he's given us, and they've all been important. They've been equalizers against big six teams. They've been goals to go ahead. The first goal, like they're all important clutch goals, and a lot of them are just clinical. Like I just the technique, the vision. Like I'm like, wow, Leo, like you are. They're talking to you about a contract extension, apparently.
yeah.
So that says it all. Like the
He's
club
a
don't
very
just hand them out.
no, he's a very useful guy to have around the squad. It's yeah, he's been huge for us recently. So yeah, good for him. But
Yeah, let's
yeah,
get to Villa.
yeah, let's do the Villa one. Predicted lineups. Obviously, the lineup is on screen. Yeah, I've already read it out. Where, what do you think he'll do? Because obviously the Bayern game is next Wednesday, so you have to bear that in mind, right? But what are you thinking for the Villa game?
So you know what? I've got myself in trouble because just yesterday or 2 days ago, I was on Net That Hall and I gave some bullish statements about some of these players and their who's
Okay.
going to play. I told people to sell like Heung-min Son and buy Kai Havertz. I was like, Kai Havertz is one of the first names on the team sheet. He's definitely going to play. Now I'm like, oh shit, could Kai Havertz get a rest this weekend? And I'm like, oh no, what have I done? I also told them Saka will start every single game now because it's basically like this cup final time. My view was right that Rice and these guys, Saka, like they got their rest against Luton midweek. Like we got through, that was fine. We then have 2 extra days of rest here than Villa do, obviously going into the game. We also have another like 3 days till the next game. So I was like, surely everyone starts. In my eyes, the only three positions I thought would change would be left back, Jorginho, and left wing. So I
Just
thought it's
before
going to
you
be the
go on
exact
to
same
that,
team.
if I just read out the schedule, so obviously it's Sunday the 14th, we've got Aston
Yep.
Villa at home. Wednesday the 17th, so that's just Monday, Tuesday to rest, and then half of the day Wednesday, Bayern Munich away. Depending on that Bayern Munich tie, that could go to extra time, right? But we've got Wolves away on the Saturday, so that's just Thursday, Friday, half of the Saturday. And then we've got Chelsea at home on the Tuesday, the
Midweek
23rd
again.
of April. So
Oh,
Sunday,
no.
Monday to it. So there will be changes. So if you look,
Shit.
because then after Chelsea, we've got 3-4 days before Tottenham. So I think you'll look at that as like a little break. But look at the block of four: Aston Villa, Bayern, Wolves, Chelsea. There will 100% be changes in there, and it's just where.
Oh no, I'm in trouble then. So I think one of Smith Rowe or Vieira is going to come in.
Me too.
As the left centre mid maybe instead of Jorginho. So I do wonder if we're going to see like Rice in the six and then maybe like Odegaard plus one of Smith Rowe or Vieira. So that's kind of midfield I'm predicting. In the back line, I'm expecting that if Tomiyasu's that we need him for Bayern. So like I don't know, like does he start and get subbed early or
It's weird because he came on against Brighton, right? And he came.
Yeah, but so maybe yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. So maybe Zinchenko starts again, and then Tommy gets like to share the game with him. I do think Kivio is going to get arrested here, and then Martinelli, we want him for Bayern, I think. So I would not be shocked if he also got arrested for Trossard. So that's kind of the three changes I see, like Trossard in for Martinelli, Vieira or Smith Rowe in for Jorginho, and Zinchenko, maybe Tomiyasu in for Kivio. That's the only three I see. Like I don't see how like Saka can be rested for like Nelson. I don't see how Odegaard can be rested for Smith Rowe, but then Jorginho starts. So then it's like, and what do you think about Partey actually? So obviously Partey made that pass that led to the last minute chance by Saka. I don't think anyone else on our team can make that pass.
Do you think he meant it?
No, I think he was aiming for someone else, but it just ended up there. I don't think he was actually even aiming for him.
Not me.
Like, when I watched the replay a few times, I was like, no, this just like it just happened to land there, but like that wasn't the intended target.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Do you think this is the kind of game where? So that's the only alternative thing I think is what if Partey comes in as the six, and then therefore, so you know I'm saying obviously Jorginho gets replaced by Smith Rowe Vieira. What if both Jorginho and Odegaard get rested? So what if it's actually it's Vieira, Smith Rowe playing the right centre mid, Rice the left centre mid, and Partey in the middle. That's the one thing that I'm like, shit, maybe even Odegaard isn't safe. Like, because he plays every game, every minute, all the time. So I'm like, the only player who's not had a rest is Odegaard, right? Like, everyone else has had one, like Saka, Rice, like, they've all had rests.
I
So
think he'll play every minute, Odegaard.
you reckon Odegaard will just play
I
through
think
now
we're
till the
just
end of
going
the
to
season?
fucking burn him into the ground. And he's the captain. Everything we do off the ball is led by him. He is the coach on the pitch. I think he'll play every single minute, personally. When I say, I think he'll
I
start
hope you're
every
right. Yeah, I hope you're right, because I'm in that situation now, just from an FPL point of view, just to get your opinion. I'm going to be buying an Arsenal midfielder this week, and I really want it to be Kai Havertz.
Yeah, I want to get Havertz as well.
The question is, will he start?
I don't know. My predicted 11 is same dilemmas as you. There's dilemmas in midfield, left back, and left wing centre forward. There is a world in which I see it's hard because we don't know if Tommy isn't fit, but there is a world I can see Tommy coming in for Ben White at right back in this game, give White a breather. I think there's a chance Kiwior starts, just from a confidence perspective. It's a home game against Aston Villa. Like, if you look at Bayern Munich away, I don't think he's going to get that one again. He could get one of Wolves or Chelsea, but again, the away game, I just think against Bayern Munich, I think that's going to be Tomiyasu. I don't think he will go there and try to start with Zinchenko, because even though I thought Zinchenko gave us momentum on the ball when he came on, I don't think we'll have as much of the ball in that second leg. Just the nature of it being in their intimidating stadium. I think that's going to be a setup to nullify them, like Tomiyasu in there, Rice and Havertz, but then he never really does that in the first phase, does he? Tommy, Rice, Havertz. So I don't know. I see a world in which
the relationships, right? So if you think of that left trio, like, who is it going to be? Because against Bayern, it was essentially Kiwior, Rice, and Martinelli with Jorginho as well. The dynamics change a lot. Like, I was looking at some passing networks, and when you bring in Zinchenko, he's like where Jorginho is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Gabriel has someone like Zinchenko or someone like Jorginho to pass to. So that's why I'm thinking, like, surely he can't disrupt the rhythm too much. Like, you make too many changes and suddenly an entire side of the pitch is dysfunctional.
Yeah, okay, fuck it. I'm going to give him my prediction. I'm going Raya in goal, Tomiyasu right back, Saliba Gabriel, Zinchenko left back, midfield of Rice, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, and then a front three of Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka. So no Havertz, no Trossard. And that's more just trying to get Martinelli more up to speed. Tomiyasu some minutes in at right back. Jesus potentially more rhythm as a starter ahead of next Wednesday.
And then you have Zinchenko with Smith Rowe and like Martinelli.
Zinchenko with Rice, in that double pivot. The normal 3-2 build up with Saliba as the central centre back.
And Tomiyasu maybe stays deep. Yeah.
That's what I'm going with. But that's not saying Havertz dropped, just him playing a role in a different way in this game.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be I'm interested to see the hive mind predictions later, because I have a feeling there's going to be some funny percentages on a lot of these players.
Same. What are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going to put myself to the mast. I'm going to stick myself to the mast as well. So I almost said something much weirder than that. But so I'm going to go with Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Zinchenko.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Rice, Havertz, Odegaard midfield, or Rice, Havertz, and Smith Rowe with no Odegaard. That's the other one I'm thinking about.
Yeah, okay.
I could see an Odegaard rest. I know we're saying he might not, and then front three, I'm thinking Jesus through the middle with Saka and Martinelli either side. Yeah.
Do you think on Wednesday against Bayern Munich he'll do Jesus up top, Havertz left 8?
I don't know, because I think it's nice to be able to change the formation in game and have Havertz drop deep after like starting striker. So I think I'd prefer to start him as striker, because I reckon at the Allianz, like, they're going to be out the blocks for blood, and we might need like an outlet. And I know Jesus is good at like bringing the ball down and hold up play, but he's not 6'4". Do you know what I mean? Like I know it's
It's
quite basic
interesting you say
analysis,
that.
but
I think the ball sticks with Jesus more than it does with Havertz, despite Havertz's frame.
yeah, I think Havertz is good for like knocking it down. It's just whether we win the second ball. Jesus actually gets the ball. I'm
Yeah.
not sure Havertz does get the ball.
The only reason I asked that was more thinking, I wonder then if he uses it to try and get them familiar with each other again in this game, because you said there,
So that's
Rice,
why I went for
Havertz.
that. Yeah, so Havertz left centre because that's why I went for it. Because in my mind, I was like, these guys could interchange as well. Because we know Jesus likes to come deep sometimes. So in those situations, it's like when Trossard played through the middle earlier and him and Havertz would swap. I do wonder if he tries that out because how often have Jesus and Havertz had opportunities this season to both be on the pitch together with Rice protecting behind?
Yeah.
There's very few options. And if that ends up being the team I think is most likely to win it against Bayern next week, then they need to like play some minutes together.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
But then, but then that leaves the question of who's getting rested because if Havertz starts and Jesus. So I think my view is that Odegaard could be rested and yours is Havertz could be rested. I think that's kind of the main difference in our lineups, I would say. And you're potentially saying Tomiyasu for Ben White, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be
I
interesting.
do like that idea, by the way, Tomiyasu for Ben White, because he also needs a rest.
Yeah, it's just one like I know you can't predict what will happen on Wednesday, but if it goes to extra time, fucking hell, Wolves away, like we should have enough quality to beat them, but that's not a ground I want to be going to Saturday 7:30 and rotating, having to rotate 4 or 5 players and change dynamics. I'd rather take that risk at home, get it wrong, and then change things around like off the bench rather than having
And
to.
and just on Villa then, because I think it's worth talking about them a bit before we do predictions. Like they've obviously played last night, they were winning 2-0. I'm quite
Strong
pleased
team
that
they went with.
yeah, they went for the full strength, everyone full strength. They did start subbing people off. And what I was trying to figure out, I want your opinion, is were they subbing on squad players so that they're like have some, minutes in their legs before they start against us on Sunday? Or were they resting first team players so they can start them and go strong against us again? Because they're
What were the
now
subs?
only
I didn't really look.
yeah, so I'll tell you the subs because it was quite late, but it was when they were 2-0 up, and then they conceded, and now it's 2-1, and they could also go to extra time next Thursday. And I'm like, do they want to maybe prioritize Europe? And we know Unai loves this shit, so I'm just having a look to tell you who the subs were. So the subs were, so they were winning 2-0, and as soon as they went 2-0 up in the 56th minute, right? In the 66th minute, they subbed off their young guy, Morgan Rogers, for Zaniolo. 74th minute, they subbed out Leon Bailey for Moussa Diaby. 74th minute, they subbed off Lucas Digne for Alex Moreno. 82nd minute, they put on John Duran for Ollie Watkins. 82nd minute, they subbed out Yuri Tielemans for Irogbunum. 84th minute, it became 2-1. 94th minute, Martinez gets a yellow for time wasted.
So it sounds like they managed the squad very well in that game, to be fair.
Yeah, like they managed to start getting players off from 66, 74th, 82nd. So like my thinking is like, is that 8 minutes rest for Watkins or is that 8 minutes for Duran to be ready to start? Because when I spoke to Craig from Man on Pod, he was doing that whole with me this week. He's obviously a Villa fan. And he explained that, like, obviously against the Man City game, they like rotated like crazy just to focus on this European tie. So I said to him, what are the chances that you do the same to us? And he goes, look, like we're going to look at what games we have left remaining and we're going to target the ones that are winnable. And like away at the best defense in the league, he would not be shocked if they made some changes to the first 11. And
when did he say this?
On Wednesday night, before 2-1.
Yeah.
And they went very full strength, right? And when they were resting players, I almost wondered, did they rest them at 2-0 thinking, oh, this is great, they could start on Sunday too? But now they're thinking, oh, shit, it's 2-1 and we're going away from home on Thursday and it could go to 120 minutes.
I think the starting Villa team will be very similar to the one that started on Thursday.
Oh, no. That's not what I wanted to see.
I don't see John Duran starting instead of Watkins. I think it will be a very strong team. Obviously, they're without Luiz for us already because he's suspended. And even though the Thursday to Sunday thing is a thing, they were able to change half of their team through substitutions. They then have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to rest until Lille. I think they're going to want to go with their strong team again on Sunday, so then they're all familiar and in a rhythm before their biggest game next Thursday. And then I think they've got Bournemouth at home the following weekend. They'll just reassess then availability and fatigue. I don't think they'll come and rotate on Sunday. And if anything,
They've also got a lot of injuries, though, right? So even without the rotation, so this is the other thing, right? Without the rotation, they are still missing Douglas Luiz, you say. And the way that Craig explained it to me is that he thinks the reason they're going to struggle, and he's scared of this game, I guess, is because McGinn and Tielemans are like playing as like attacking mids in a way, like they're like eights, right? So they have no defensive midfielder to play.
Yeah,
so they are going to come to the Emirates with two midfielders who are central midfielders who could defend, but like neither McGinn or Tielemans are like a great six.
Yeah.
So that gives me some hope. And obviously, I know they've got injuries that have been out all season. So it's not like it's fresh injuries, but they have a lot of injuries in that back line. You know, they've also got Kamara's been out. You know, it's just like Buendia these are first team players, right? Like first team squad players. Buendia is another option for them. Like they are definitely missing people. We've got a full strength team.
Yeah.
Like surely at the Emirates, like we're motivated by what happened and not getting the win against Bayern. I'd like to think this group are like motivated by setbacks like that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even call it a setback. It was just a draw against one of the European giants at home. Like I think we're going to go in. It'll be a strong team. Like he's not going to do 4 or 5 changes, Arteta. So I think we'll go in. We'll expect to play against one of the strongest Villa sides available. Like I don't think they'll mass rotate. And I think we'll look to, like I've said consistently in the last few weeks, get the job done, go 2-3-0 up and make those changes, like manage the energy levels through substitutions. I think that's what we're going to do. To be honest, going through and talking about Villa has made me question my own prediction for the Arsenal team. I think he will just go. I'd like to revise my Arsenal predicted 11.
Go for it. Based on like the rests that all their players have had.
Yeah, I think White will start. I don't think Tomiyasu will come in. I think it's going to be strong. I think he's going to go very strong and he's going to look to just manage minutes off the bench. I think he'll bring Tommy off the bench potentially. I think it's going to be a very strong team and try to go get the win because we're better than Villa. They'll be tough. It's going to be a tough game, I think, which probably leads on to score predictions, but I think we have enough to kind of get that job done and then manage the squad load through substitutions. But with all of that in mind, obviously we're going to be there. What are you expecting?
I am expecting. My score prediction is I will go with a hard-fought 2-0 victory. We need to get back to clean sheet ways. Like what is it? Sub 5 XG conceded in the league in 2024 next to City in 13. We need to make sure that we keep up this less XG than games played conceded numbers. Like we need to just, if we're going to win the title, like jokes aside, we're going to win the Premier League this season. The only way I can see that happening is thanks to our defense. That's how championships are won. Like with that, your defense is to be solid. And this team, they give me the same vibes. There's obviously not as defensively sound, but the same vibes as the Chelsea team that conceded 15 goals in a season. And I look back at that now and I'm like, holy shit, like that.
What an insane achievement.
How? How? And I think that's the way. If we're going to get this over the line, these 7 League Cup finals we have, that is how. Like we need to like give people 1 to 2 chances a game for the remaining 7 maximum. Because I just don't see how else we can do it. But I just don't know. Like we've got some tough away games. We're going to have to be resolute at Wolves. We're going to have to be resolute at Old Trafford. We're going to have to be resolute at Tottenham. I think even Chelsea at home with a midweek, as you say, like with all these fixtures you just read out, like the congestion is real. We're going to have to properly use this squad and we're going to have to be sound. So 2-0, clean sheet, and goal scorers. I'm going to go with Gabriel Maglici's due one.
Okay, bullet header incoming.
It's been a while. I want to see it live and direct. And Kai Havertz, he's also due one.
Okay, happy days. I've got the same score prediction as you. I think it's going to be a tight game, though. I think we'll have our element of control and nullify them, but especially in midfield, I think we'll win that midfield battle with no Luiz in there. I think we'll get the better of them, and overload them, to be honest. But I do worry about them. I think they can cause us issues, and I reckon like Emery as well. He's a master tactician for like one-off games, right? Like he doesn't really sustain things, and he can sometimes overthink things and get it wrong. But he is capable of pulling a rabbit out of the hat. And I reckon he would have watched Bayern and then seen us vulnerable in transition and looked to see if he can do something there, because that's what Villa are quite good at, right? They're a very good transition team. But I think we'll have too much. And the one thing, I'm even going to put a bet on it, Smith Rowe to score. I think this is a game.
I would kill for that. I need him to freaking score, man. It's been too many years.
This is a game where I look at it tactically, and I think you've made a good point about McGinn and Tielemans. Are they really sixes? No. I think this is a game for runners, running in behind, running in pockets, running into space. I can see this fitting Smith Rowe like a glove. And obviously Villa were linked with him before. That's just like a narrative there, potentially. I can see Smith Rowe bagging in this, but I'm going 2-0 to the Arsenal. So let's just hope it's a nice, comfortable 2-0, though. Get up nice and early and then rotate through substitutions.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and get there early now. So I've had a look. I'm hoping to get to the area, to Finsbury Park or whatever, around maybe 2 p.m. or something. So then
nice.
we've got 2.5
what time's
hours
pre-game.
I think 4:30. Yeah, so 2.5 hours pre-game. Like eat some food, get in the spirit, sing some songs, maybe find some other gooners as well that we know. Hopefully, if anyone's listening or watching and they're going to be there, like obviously reach out to us and grab a pint together or meet each other pre or post game. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Clayton. This might be the last game I get to go to live this season, the way the ballots have gone. I've got one more ballot entry for the second to last home game of the season. I'm trying to think who it is. Is it Everton? No, Everton at home's the last day. So who is it? I've just entered the ballot the other day. The second to last game.
Bournemouth at home.
Oh yeah, so Bournemouth at home is the other game. I'm fingers crossed I win the ballot, but it's not been good so far this season to me, this ballot system. I'm actually almost at the point where I'll talk to you about it on Sunday, but I might just have to cave in and like buy the platinum membership and pay them a lot more money. Like I'm at the stage where I'm like, I can't deal with this. Like I need to be at the stadium. I don't like watching it in pubs or at home. Like I want to be there.
You want to feel
push the team on. Yeah, I want to, support the team and sing loud. But yeah, let's see each other on Sunday. 2-0 to the Arsenal guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Shout out to Delia as well. Happy Friday. Sorry we did not say hi earlier. I think we were just lost in the moment of being back.
Cheers for joining.
After so long. Thank you.
Nice one. Yeah, we'll be back. We're gonna have a chat about our schedules and stuff, but we'll be back to review Villa, preview Bayern's second leg, and on we trot. I'll be flying out on Tuesday to Munich. So let's get the 3 points on Sunday, and then let's do the business in the Champions League. Cheers for joining, everyone. Up the Arsenal.
Come on, you Gunners.